Hey guys, and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be discussing this rechargeable battery pack slash AC adapter for the original Game Boy. I came across this guy here at a local secondhand shop and I was like, this is pretty neat. I've never really seen this before. I've never known it really existed. I've looked into it since, and there are a couple of them out there, but by no means are they out there in large amounts, or at least at time of filming. This is for the DMG-01 only, the original Game Boy only, and that is because the original Game Boy is a 6-volt Game Boy, whereas all of its successors are 3-volt Game Boys. So plugging this guy into like a pocket or a color isn't going to be good. You're probably going to hurt something, so it is only for the original Game Boy. Now this thing here, it's complete in box, which I thought was pretty neat. Stuff that, is getting to be this vintage, 30 years old. You don't usually find it complete in box. So when I seen it, I was like, you know what, I gotta have that. That's pretty cool. It was reasonably priced. And everything was in here, including the original manual, which is pretty cool. It looks like it's sealed. It does have a scotch tape on here, so maybe somebody opened it and looked at it, but they resealed it and they took care of it. The paperwork's not like all torn or anything. It comes with like the information stuff and like a warning because it's an electrical component. So I thought that was pretty cool, and that only made me want to have it more. Also in the box we have the wall connector. Now I don't think, in fact I know this is not a Nintendo thing, it's just some random cord that somebody found and threw in there, but that's fine. It's just a standardized 120 volt outlet cord. It would have been nice to have the black Game Boy one, the official Nintendo one, but hey, that's what are you gonna do. And onto the brick itself, which is quite large and quite heavy. It's no light creature. It's an old battery technology, I'm sure. I haven't looked it up, but I'm quite confident it's probably nickel metal hydrate, possibly nickel cadmium, but it's certainly not lithium or anything like that. That was just too expensive at the time. It was lithium was out there, certainly, but nickel metal hydrate was just such a more reachable price point for the average consumer. That being said, I don't even know what this sold for. I never really looked into it, but if I had to guess, I'd have to say around 50 to 60 bucks, if I had to guess. It does say on here, well, it doesn't say. I'm not sure if we can read that there. Maybe if I get the autofocus to work, doesn't want to pick it up. But it does say here that the charge time is 8 hours, and it outputs 4.8 volts at 150 milliamps, which isn't 6 volts like I was expecting, because I thought these guys, I thought it said on here that it takes 6 volts. Yeah, it does, which is strange. So it says this is a DC 6 volt input, and it's kind of strange that this thing only outputs 4.8, but that kind of makes more sense because nickel medium batteries are at a bit lower voltage than the conventional AA battery. NiCads are usually at 1.3 volts, if I'm not mistaken, and regular AA batteries are at 1.5. But that's getting beyond the scope of this discussion. So, I guess what I want to do is I want to try it and see if it works. It's a 30-year-old battery, so I really have zero expectations about how it's going to hold a charge. Maybe for a couple seconds, maybe not at all. I'm not really expecting it to, but it does double as an AC adapter. So we should just be able to plug it in and plug it into our Game Boy and it'll work. Again, I don't expect it to hold... Oh, it went bzzzt. I don't expect it to hold any amount of charge, but it should power the Game Boy. So let's plug it in to the side of the Game Boy here. Bring this over. And... oh. Absolutely nothing is happening here. It went bzzzt. I heard it, like, that electrical noise you get when you plug stuff in as the load's being applied to the circuit. So I'm confident that power is getting into the brick, but absolutely nothing is coming out of it. Okay. Now, I haven't tested an AC adapter on this particular Game Boy before, so there is a small chance that it is the power port on that Game Boy. So I do have another Game Boy here. So I'm just going to quickly... absolutely nothing happening here. I was going to use this Game Boy for the video, but this one has an aftermarket LCD color display in it, and it would draw a little bit more power, so I didn't want to stress this out as it's not a full 6 volts. But this guy's all original. It should... Okay, well, that's kind of disappointing. So what we'll do, maybe it just needs to sit here for a minute. I'll leave it plugged in. I won't leave it plugged into the Game Boy, but I'll leave it plugged in. Maybe it needs to get a bit of a charge. We'll have a quick look at this manual here. I'm gonna open up this tape. You know what? I don't know if that's original or not. It's hard to say. I'm not familiar with this vintage of Nintendo literature. But it is kind of cool just to have it. So we got a danger, do not open. Oh, look at that. It's oh. Here I was thinking this was going to be an electrical warning. No, it's an advertisement. It's danger for the abandoned fortress of World 7 and Super Mario Brothers 3. So this is an advertisement for the Nintendo Power magazine. That's kind of cool. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it to be an electrical warning because, you know, it had kids, danger, do not open, you know. I'm sure there'll be plenty of warnings about that in here. What else do we... Oh, wow, this is crisp. Oh, get the... This is... This is cool. It's another Nintendo Power advertisement. Oh, that's cool. I thought it was going to be an advertisement for the accessory itself, and I guess it kind of is. It does have it here. Now you're playing with portable power. Oh, that's cool. Game Pack Library. Explore the vast array of exciting Game Boy games. So it's just... Oh, it's advertisement for the hip pouch and the rechargeable battery pack, which it says here allows for continuous play at home and provides 10 hours of power for on the go. So that's pretty good. 10 hours. I think if I remember correctly, you only get like 2 to 3 on, you know, double A's from that time period. You know, you could throw in lithium batteries nowadays that'll last for way longer than conventional double A's. And then what do we have here? The owner's manual, which multiple language. Of course, looks like it's French and English, as it would be for Canada. Okay, so it's just standard. Make sure you fully recharge the battery pack before using it for the first time. Now, you would think that would only be for using it as a rechargeable battery. You should be able to plug it into the wall and use it otherwise. So yeah, just... Recharging time is about 8 hours. We know that the recharging body may get warm during recharging. This is normal. The rechargeable battery pack will slowly discharge even if it is not being used. Okay, just all typical battery nomenclature. The rechargeable battery pack can be recharged about 300 times. Okay. Do not recharge for more than 8 hours or recharge it below 32 degrees Celsius. Blah, blah, blah. Do not attempt to open. Game Boy does not work when rechargeable battery is used as AC adapter. And that's this right here. That's what's happening. Is rechargeable battery pack connected properly? So be sure the rechargeable battery pack is connected properly. It is also possible that the battery pack is completely discharged. If this is the case, turn the power switch off the Game Boy. Recharge for 30 minutes to an hour, then turn the unit back on. Okay, so obviously I expect that this has been sitting somewhere for a super long period of time. So we will let it charge for half an hour and plug it back in and see what it does. Oh, this is kind of neat. Right before we take a break for that, we'll just have a look here. It does list replacement parts for various Game Boy accessories, not just including the battery pack itself. But you can also get like a game pack case. I'm presuming that is a like one of those clear cases to protect the individual game cartridges. You know, power cord, game link cable, and look at the pricing of these things, brand new. You got $8, $1.50, $8.50. That's all. Wow, that's I wish things were still similarly priced like that today. Neat. Okay, we'll come back to this in half an hour, and we'll see if this will. It is starting to get a bit of temperature to it, so it is trying to charge, or whatever it needs to do. But we'll come back to this in half an hour and see what happens. Okay, so I let this thing sit for about 45 minutes to an hour now. It is, I did a little bit of research during the wait there. It is NiCad battery technology in here, not nickel metal hydrate like I was suspecting. And I suspect that there are 4 batteries in here. Like nickel metal hydrate, NiCad batteries operate at a lower voltage from a conventional AA battery. They operate at 1.2 volts, and this is 4.8. So I suspect that there are 4 NiCad batteries in there that make this up. They're probably a little bit larger than a AA standard. They may be, you know, specific to this, but they're probably some sort of industrial cell that was manufactured in that time period. So again, we've let this sit. We're going to give it a shot. I don't have high hopes, but hey, you never know. Absolutely nothing. During my break, I also looked to see if I had the screwdriver to open this. They use like a Game Boy cartridge screw, which is maybe a little bit bigger. It's that same style of screw. I do have a screwdriver that fits that, however, I just happen to have it lent out at this time. So I'm going to return to this in a future video, open it up and see if what's going on in here. I'm expecting maybe some corrosion has or some acid has leaked out of the batteries and damaged the circuitry, or maybe the batteries are just failed. Maybe I can fix it with some new cells. I don't know. I have to wait until I can open this to see, and unfortunately I can't do that today. But I am going to wrap this video up with one small little test here. I got my multimeter. I'm going to adjust that so you can see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I just wanted to see if there's any voltage coming out of this thing at all. I don't expect there to be any, because the manual states that the battery does need to be charged to some degree before it starts outputting power, and if the batteries aren't taking any charge, then you're not going to see any power. But I'm just curious. What's the polarity? Okay, so we have positive on the outside, which is not the usual side for positive to be on, but positive is on the outside and negative is on the inside. So my lead fits just perfectly right inside of here, and my other lead's going to go right on the outside, and zilch. Yeah, absolutely zero power coming out of this thing at all, which is kind of what I was expecting. Well, that being done, I guess I can say I'm not surprised. I'm a little bit disappointed it's not working or isn't going to work. But hey, it's 30 years old. What are you going to do? This type of battery technology was certainly not known for its longevity, which is probably the reason why it's not in use anymore. Again, in a future video, I'm going to try to revisit this, open it up, see if it's salvageable, or at the very least just see what's going on inside of there. I'm curious at that. But that about wraps it up for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.